Hello YouTube friends, today I am going to show you how to easily make a dreamy cottagecore dress using a vintage bed skirt. So if you want to see how, then keep on watching. So the first thing I will do is cut out the bottom piece of the dress. I am planning on doing 2 layers of skirt. Now it's time to cut the bodices, so I just measured my bust measurements and then multiply it by 1.5, and that is how much or how wide the fabric should be, and the length is going to be around 11 inches. Whenever I make a dress, I always like to do a high-waisted dress just because it is more flattering on my body because I am petite, so high-waisted always looks good on me. Plus, wearing high-waisted garments will actually make you look slim than you really are because that is the slimmest part of your body. By the way, this is cut on fold, so I will have 2 panels of fabrics once I am done cutting it at the fold. So the panels that I'm using here is actually around 16 inches long because I thought I am going to need extra fabric because I wanted to do a different sheer design on the dress, but it turns out I didn't have to do a 16 inches. Folded the fabric and now it's time to cut out the half of the armhole or arm side. So I am going to measure in 3.5 inches and then measure down 3 inches down. I am going to cut out the sleeves, so I just fold the fabric and I'm going to cut out 10 inches by 14, and then I am just going to cut it out. I actually used the same measurement when I made my very first cottagecore dress. Then I am simply going to use this bodice pattern as my template to cut out the half of the arm side. After that, I am going to hem the necklines, so I'm simply going to fold it twice and then sew from here to the other end. I'm actually pretty stoked about this sewing project just because Coolirpa made a bedsheet dress and I had been wanting to do that for the longest time. So when I went to the thrift store the other day, I found a perfect vintage sheet. So I decided I am going to make a dress out of it. By the way, this bedsheet is not all perfect. Some of the spots are stained and some are faded. So I actually tried my hardest to get the decent or still good looking fabric on the bedsheet. After that, I am going to overlock all the raw edges. And I'm using my serger. This is called Brother 1034D and I absolutely love it. So if I am going to recommend a serger, I will highly recommend this one. After that, I am going to stitch the side seams and I am doing about 1/2 inch seam allowance. We'll do the same thing on the sleeves. I am going to stitch the inseams. After that, it's time to join the sleeves on the bodice. So I'm simply going to match the half of the arm side. Right sides of the fabric should be facing. By the way, YouTube friends, you can easily find vintage bed sheets off of eBay and Etsy. If you can find a decent bed sheets in your local thrift store, you can check out those online stores instead. Then I am going to stitch it along the edge, doing 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now the top is starting to take its shape, and as you can see here, it looks like a white blouse. So now it's time to shear stitch it. So from the top, I am going to measure down 8 inches, and that is the measurement just under my bust. Just because the fabric I am using has lines already, I didn't draw any lines to guide me. But if you need to do that, go ahead and draw lines so it's much easier for you to shear stitch the bodice. I kind of sheared stitch it differently just because I want to have a different design, and plus it's much more quicker because I'm not shearing the whole entire half of the dress or the bodice. Now it's time to create a channel or casing for the elastic. So I'm just going to fold about 1/2 inch because the elastic that I'm using is 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to fold the neckline and the shoulders all the way around and leaving about 2 inches opening so I can feed the elastic through the channel. After that, I am going to feed the elastic through the casing. And then I am going to try it on so I can adjust the elastic. After I tried on the dress and I adjusted the elastic, I am going to pin it to secure, and I am going to secure the elastic as well. So I measured the elastic, it's actually around 32 inches long. Before you secure the elastic, be sure that it is not twisted. Now it's time to close the opening shut. The top is almost done, so now all I have to do is finish the hemlines of the sleeves. I am deciding whether to put an elastic on the hemline or just leave it like this. So leave me a comment down below what you think I should do. If you wanted a puff sleeves, you are just going to create a drive just like I did on the neckline. You're just going to fold it in like this and put elastic inside the casing. It's time to make the bottom of the dress. As you can see here, this piece right here has a stain right here on this side. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to cover it with the second layer of fabric because I am doing layered skirt. And by the way, the width of the skirt panel here is about the same width of the bodice. So that's around 51 inches. Here I am just trimming the skirt panels to the correct width that I want to so it will match the bodice. cutting this panel shorter because this is going to be the top layer. This is what it should look like. As you can see, I have 2 layers. I was going to do 3 layers, but I did not have enough material. The rest of the fabrics has staining on them, so I decided to do 2 layers instead. So after that, I am going to sew these 2 panels together. It will act like one piece, and it's going to be a lot easier to work with. After I stitch the 2 panels together, it's time to join the side seam. So as you can see, there are ruffles on the side seam. Just be extra careful that they are matched perfectly because you don't want it to not align and it's not going to look cute. After that, it's time to join the bodice and the bottom together. I am just simply going to match the waistline. Right sides of the fabric should be facing each other. Also going to shear stitch it so the waistline will stretch and I can easily get in and out of the dress. I'm also stretching the bodice as I sew. So here I tried on the dress and the inseam is a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. It's a different design, so I decided to trim it off about 2 inches. As you can see here, I trim it off and it tapers to the center fold. And then I am simply just going to double fold it to hide the raw edges and the dress is done. Leave me a comment down below if you think I should do a puff sleeves or just leave it like this, nice and flowy. Be sure to leave a comment down below.
Thanks so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed this sewing tutorial for beginner. I absolutely love this dress. I love how it turned out and I also love the fact that this was made out of an old bed sheet, so this is very sustainable and good for the earth. So that's it, you guys. Thanks so much for watching and I will see you in my next sewing tutorial. Bye!